You've got 3 kids, you say. They've got fantastic names: Olympia, Lightning Bolt, Thunderbolt, and St. Leo Bolt. So they've all, I would imagine, got the Bolt sprinting gene. Who's the quickest?
Well, right now, Olympia, my daughter is definitely showing that she wants to run. She runs everywhere. She's always on her toes. She walks on her toes like a sprinter. So that's something that I look forward to. But my boys are just one, so I'm keeping an eye on them.
Do you ever get... I've spoken to racing drivers. Jenson Button told me every time he goes out in a car on a normal road, there's always some bloke in a Porsche who wants to try it on with him at a traffic light and zoom off. Do you, as the fastest man to ever live, do you find that everywhere you go there's always somebody who wants to try and take you down? And what do you do about it?
All the time. It's all the time. For the older people, I just laugh. But if they really want to try, I'll race with them sometimes if I have time on my hands. And sometimes I'll let them win if it's a smaller kids, but if bigger kids, I won't let them win.
They've got to learn the hard way, you're saying. That's how you learn how to win. Jamaica's going through an instinct...
Yeah, but younger kids...
Sorry, go on.
For younger kids, it's much more fun to let them win, you know what I mean? Because they're really fans and they look up to you. But the older kids understand that it's not always going to be easy to win, you know what I mean? So I have to let them know you have to earn this. You have to earn the win, because
you say
older kids will brag.
Well, I never let any of my kids beat me at anything. The problem is that 3 of them now have got old enough where they beat me at everything. That's the problem. But I think that's the winning mentality I gave them.
You got to enjoy it. Yeah, you got to enjoy it while it lasts, you know what I mean? I definitely think I'll be that dad also.
This is Johnny Depp, who's come out on TikTok. He's just joined TikTok, apparently, literally today. And he's made his first address on TikTok. And in it, he basically thanks his fans. And Amber Heard's people... So this is Johnny Depp's statement. It's a nice statement thanking his fans and so on. What's more interesting is Amber Heard's response immediately. She's come up from a spokesperson and said, as Johnny Depp says he's moving forward, what he says in his little comment there, women's rights are moving backwards. The verdict's message to victims of domestic violence is be afraid to stand up and speak out. So Amber Heard's still playing the downtrodden victim, even though she lost almost all of that case. What do you make of this? Have women's rights been served by anybody in this case?
Well, absolutely. And I think Amber Heard arguing that women's rights have been taken backwards, actually, it's been done by her because of all her false allegations. She's completely delusional, clearly, because she's still pivoting herself as this victim, as, you know, the face of violence against women, when that's not the case at all. What is incredible to me is there are still people in her camp that are saying, actually, no, she's a victim. And when no one is speaking on the Johnny Depp side of things and the kind of abuse that men have to go.
I think she is a victim, and I think
not a victim.
It's entirely appropriate of him to thank his fans, because the pressure of celebrity culture, the organisation, the way the trial was handled, was actually what resulted in what I think most people would regard in this country as a perverse verdict.
Really?
Oh, absolutely
You think
not.
that?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. I think it is clear that his star power and his male power, if I can put it that way, she is no angel. I certainly would accept that. But I think it's absolutely clear that she did come under pressure. And I think what she said in the New York Times, which didn't specify him, was perfectly legitimate.
I'm sorry, no, that was completely in bad faith. She was not
and
a victim.
remember, the British courts...
All of them.
The British
courts had a lower standard.
Oh, well, really? The British courts have a lower standard?
Yes, exactly,
the British courts upheld that he had been guilty of spousal abuse.
By one judge. This was... No, I'm sorry.
Well, isn't it fascinating, though, that we've now had 2 court cases with these 2. One Johnny Depp lost, one he won almost in entirety. And even now, people are really split about this.
Yes, but you see, this is the argument which her defence barrister put out, that if you go into any domestic abuse situation and you reduce it to he said, she said, she always loses. And that's exactly what's happening.
I actually don't think it should have been on television. I don't think you should televise domestic violence cases, either criminal or civil. I think it turns it into, Monica Lewinsky said, it turns it into kind of courtroom porn. And I think that is a problem. You had a great quote, Don, which I wanted to replay to you. You said there was very little left on your bucket list. I've seen everything, I've been everywhere, I've done it all. I love that.
Well, it's the truth. And one thing I'll say is that
you know, I've done things right and I've done things wrong, but it's all down on me. I don't blame anybody else. We all make mistakes in life, but I don't say I've done it all. Either I did it, if I did it right, it's because I did it right. If I did it wrong, it's because I did it wrong. And one thing I would say is that I like to know things, you know, and I like to learn about things. And one thing I want to tell you is I followed your career, and I loved your TV show when you took over for Larry King.
Oh, thank you.
I loved your TV show. I still remember many interviews that you did. You were a very, very good interviewer, and I always made a point of watching it. And I still know about all the trouble you cause on morning television with your wonderful opinions, which I most of the time agree with completely.
That makes me very happy, Don. This man who wrote this,
totally
one of these anthems of my life, says that. Makes me happy. Thank you. Like performing Sweet Caroline at the Platinum Jubilee.
I've done it quite bad, didn't I?
I thought you were great, Rod. Yeah. Funny enough, Rod Stewart came out with a great line the other day. I'm just obviously comparing you to the great man because I'm sure you like the comparison. But he was saying the other day that only he and the Queen, they've got one thing in common. They've had the same haircut for 60 years. Which I thought was a great line.
Yeah, not quite 50 years for me, but yeah.
Are you a Rod Stewart fan?
Well, what do you think?
Well, of course you are. You must be, right? Of course.
Who's not?
I love Rod. He's one of my favourite people in the world.